Guys, I'm still here with my guys. The conversation was hot before we left. Foza, Reminisce, or Sags were sort of getting hot while Excel was laughing and Focus was laughing. But I'm going to go to Excel right now before as we continue this conversation. In terms of rights, there was a time that Foza used to scream on social media. Shout out to Foza and Iri. They used to scream on social media about
Now I have money.
check check your sign your splits now. People are asking for it. But is the education still reaching the depth of the music industry?
Of course.
If not, how do we move forward and make more people understand their rights?
That's okay. So yes, there has been improvement in terms of education. Shout out to all the court cases on Twitter. Shout out to all the court cases on Twitter and blogs and Instagram. People are more aware. Producers are more. I remember a podcast session. Okay, you were not there. Me and a bunch of producers, myself, Melody Hassan, a bunch of producers. And there was a producer in the room. And producers were just talking about their experiences, their issues with getting split sheets and whatnot. There was a producer seated on that table that had produced the biggest song in the country at that moment. And throughout the pod, he said nothing. So after I went to meet him, I'm like, "Are you shy?" Because I was doing my best to get him to talk. Are you shy? It was like, Excel, I did not know anything they were saying. I did not know nothing about splits, about publishing. Like, it's like you just took me to Hogwarts. And I was like,
On your broomstick?
what? I had to introduce him to a lawyer. But I've seen this same guy in recent times. And I was like, hope say, are they collect, man? So I'm like, yeah, people are learning. Yeah, but still, like, when I travel to places, a lot of places, I was in PH. I did 2 weeks in PH for a camp in January. And I was talking with producers there. And producers there were still, like, in a lot of places, they were still finding it hard to, like, get split sheets and publishing, and they are beginning to learn. First of all, there's a lot of information on the internet, right? So if you are really passionate or you really care about your stuff, there's sometimes a lot of music business knowledge that people even form godfatherism on. It's just there on Google, on YouTube. Like, you just didn't bother to
Shots
check,
fired.
and the lack of information has made you a victim of something you could have easily escaped. We need to do more in terms of educating, and that's a job for everybody. Be it producers themselves, be it music execs, be it lawyers. Shout out to people like Foza that were screaming it. Foza was screaming it for years.
Yeah, for
like,
years.
let's take care
For
of our
years.
producers. Let's take care of our producers. Let's teach people stuff. But it's getting better, and it will keep increasing, because look, one thing and it's money. When people have begun to hear the kind of money that is circulating, and they're like, oh, word? What? Word? Like, if you're an artist now and the producer mistakenly here say you've been collect advance, it go knock you bill. So yeah. So before what you were paying was something like, he knows you have collected advance, bros. Let's renegotiate. So money has exposed people, and it's improving. So it will get better.
In the imperial words of a trend about 2 years ago during the lockdown, when an artist and a producer had problems, producer started a hashtag, no money,
No vibe.
no vibe. So I'm going to talk about the future of. We want to talk about the future of the sound now. Last year we saw like some K-pop guys making Afro beats like Wizkid. Do you guys understand? Like,
Yeah, I saw
these
that.
guys were making Afro beats like Wizkid, and now we have. Just some days ago, Billboard launched an Afrobeats chart.
Shout out to
right?
Beyonce.
And Drake. Foza. So, what is the future of the sound? Focus, Ramon. What do you think the future of the sound is?
I think everything that's happening in Nigeria now, I feel like everything just repeats itself, right? Nigeria is Jamaica on steroids. Nigerian culture is going to become regular popular culture. The way you had Nigerians, you have Pato Ranking, you have Stone Boy from Ghana speaking Patois. Jamaica is a small, tiny ass island in the Caribbean, but the influence of their culture has been so massive, right? to your dressing, to how we talk, to the point where you have stars in other countries that are doing stuff that
They are doing.
they did, right? And Nigeria is, bro, our juice is 100 times harder. Our numbers are stupid bigger. Like what we are going to cause on this planet. But as long as we just do the right things, as long as but the potential is out of this world. I mean, like everything we've been saying here, with all of these problems that are obvious, that we can identify, right? We're still making a very big splash already. Billboard is making an Afrobeats chart, and we never get. You understand? Like we still don't have our shit together like that, which we are all working on. Shout out to you, Foza. I met Foza as a student. No, bro, big fan.
Collect your shout out to Foza. Collect your flowers while you're here.
Foza was just a law student, right, in Babcock. You remember?
Yeah, on the streets of Isolo.
You understand? And she was about this shit, and she was about this. Yeah, she's about it, you know. So like the more people are, bro, like just walk the talk. Do you understand? I don't think we need to be talking too much. We already know what to do. Nigerians, nobody needs telling Nigerians what to do. You know what to do. So when we're already like, and yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. And bro, we're not going to stop. This thing is going to be massive.
Excel, do you have something to add?
Yeah, just to add to that, I think that the interesting thing about Nigeria is we've always, maybe it was like we've had these moments in the past where Nigerian music really got the world's attention. I mean, I don't need to talk too much about how big Fela was. There's also the case where Bob Marley died and Island Records were like, we need another global superstar, and they signed King Sunny Ade. Like, we've always had that thing with our music that the world wanted to hear. And now it's so crazy because now we're in the internet age.
So it can't be.
You understand? So like a lot of bridges that Fela them couldn't close. You know, they said they opened the door. They started the work for us, the Banj and Co. They started the work, but now there's the internet. So like I go on Instagram, TikTok, I'm seeing a white person like Alaska dancing Peru or dancing Amapiano. It's so wild. It's crazy, but that's how far the music has traveled. And as far as the quality of music is concerned, we've been doing amazing in that regard. Like, if it means Nigerians taking a sound that's not theirs and running it, shout out to Amapiano, by the way. We've been doing amazing with that. But the future needs to be protected.
That's why
the future needs to be protected because when you know,
won't get pregnant.
because
Future.
Because if we don't control if we don't control the narrative, someone else will control it for us. There was a little ruckus on Twitter when the Billboard thing was announced, and I think was it Billboard that put out an article where they were crediting Beyonce
And
Drake for the rise of Afrobeats. As much as it will make you feel a type of way, they are pushing their
It's facts, huh?
they like
Facts.
they are pushing their agenda.
But it's facts.
No, it's their platform. Oh. Let's
It
talk
is.
it.
It's facts.
These are the people that made this thing more
I mean,
visible.
to
right?
the-
So
to
this
the-
is-
Facts,
to
bro.
them.
It's facts.
And it's all cool,
and
right?
it's not even bad.
No,
Wherever
I'm not
the
even
win
saying it's
comes
bad.
from.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I understand what you're saying about the narrative, though, right?
Yeah.
But
I'm very big on narratives, and I learned that from here. Even I got to a certain stage.
But
where
it's still facts, bro.
no, I'm not even arguing again. I'm
Drake,
not even,
Facts only.
Drake, yeah. Facts only. I
Come
mean,
on!
Osage, Drake don't jump on top of Afrobeats since like 2015.
But
I mean, we have to give. Come
but-
on,
but-
bro.
but
Let's try and
Reminisce,
give people credit. Facts.
in your own words,
Yeah.
Whiskey will help Drake.
Yeah, Whiskey, yeah, Drake, but Drake, yeah, wrong. Well, do you guys own Billboard charts?
No,
No.
we don't.
Yeah,
No,
so
we
you have to
don't.
give him some credit, bro.
No, we don't.
I mean-
So I just want our people to like, bro. The phrase Afrobeats did not even come from Nigeria.
Yeah.
That is wild.
You couldn't even name your thing.
So we need to protect our future own narratives more
I think
and tell stories better.
Yeah, I think we're getting. I think
We're improving.
We're
It's better
bro.
than what it was. We're
Fosa,
improving.
you know what it was like. Everybody. here knows
Fosa,
what it
it's
was
like you were in the trenches. This guy keeps.
started from bottom, facts. But like as much, I think as much as we recognize how much work we have to do, I want us to not forget how much we have done. Or I don't want us to forget how much we've done so far. We've done a lot.
Yeah, we've grown.
We've
Facts.
done we've had a lot of growth, and I feel like the same spirit that pushed that growth, the same spirit that pushes these, that makes us just strive to want to do better and call each other out when we're not doing stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only gonna get better. It can only get better. That's what I think.
Guys, so thank you for your contributions.
Me too contribute to.
Hello, guys.
I have something I want to say to Osage and you. This one is going to the two of you.
Okay, no, that's
so
fine.
let me know when it's time for
That's fine. I'm going to shout out to you guys, the opinions that you guys have contributed to this, some fantastic insights. Shout out to Excel, shout out to Foza, shout out to Sage, shout out to Focus, shout out to Reminisce. But as we've been discussing here, people have also been sending us questions on social media.
Oh wow.
They've been joining the conversation. So the first question that we got is going to Foza. Coming from someone, shout out to Adebisi Pelumi, says, my question is for Foza. I agree that GDP is not the industry's responsibility to fix. But would you say the industry has what it takes to enter the streaming tech platform market and compete globally?
Right now, no.
Okay.
It's an extremely capital intensive project that would take another 5 to 10 years for you to break even. So it's right now, no. You know, people. I mean, we have a couple of examples happening in Africa now. You know, as at 3 years ago, 5 of them started, 4 have closed down because of capital. You know, so no, I personally no, I don't think, and I think, to be honest, let the people with deeper pockets fix that problem. Let's fix. You know, there's so many music tech problems that we need to fix. That's a lot cheaper than music streaming platforms, in my opinion. Right now, as the last time I counted, I think we had over 150 music platforms globally. Yeah. You know, so like I'm just like, yeah, that's, you know, let's fix some other problems, you know, going on right now, down to things like how do you for producers, for example, I was in the studio the other day, and this is a production academy, and different people are working on different beats at the same time, and I'm like, how do you log in your work that shows you created this, you wrote, you know, to this demo and stuff, and where do you store it? And I'm looking like, this is such a tech solution. And I was telling them there, I'm like, so if you don't have tech friends that can just quickly come up with something and we can sell it and just make some money, you know, I mean, so for me, I don't think we can enter into the music streaming business right now. It's too expensive, and yeah.
Thank you very much for that, Foza. Adebisi Pelumi, I hope you got your insight. If you have any more thing to talk to Foza about, you can hit her up on social media. My next question is going to go to Osage. This person says, how does going viral and streaming convert to money in an artist's pocket, especially now that it all seems fleeting? So I guess what this person is asking is, you are putting a lot of money into trending on social media. How does it convert into money and money in your pocket, into streaming numbers and money in your pocket?
There.
I think, you know, it's all about the
Sorry. But he comes to mind. Like that question, he's the one that comes to mind.
What is it?
so it's the objective or the goal at the end of the day. You know, if you are pushing for virality, is your objective, you know, to increase your streaming numbers, or is it to build your, you know, your social equity or your brand equity? There are different goals why people actually want to go viral. Ultimately, in Nigeria, because access to streaming is still very low, I believe people actually go viral to become more popular, right? To build their social equity, so increase their follower count on the respective social pages, and build the equity to the point where they are now called for shows if they can at least get one song to be popular, just one, right? You are assured. And if you know you're lucky, you did it in Q4. You know that in November, December, you know, they will call you for, you know, everybody does their XYZ live arts, and you know you come for the show and you can run it. We saw something like that happen recently, like just last year, right? And so you can get it. And if you're lucky, you can also get sprayed dollars on stage.
Come on.
You know?
Come
and so,
on.
And so that's why people actually push for virality. So the background to that was because, again, access to streaming is very low. People just want to go for shows. And the more popular you are, the more show promoters want to get you, because if they can put your face on their poster, it means that they will have a larger turnout. So that's why people push for virality.
Thank you very much, Osage. That's a lot of context and insight. My next question is going to Reminisce. This person specifically asked for you. There's a tendency to put there's a tendency to put African music and African artists in one bucket called world music. What's your view on that?
My view on that, okay, good. This was what I was going to discuss with you earlier, and I'm glad someone has asked this.
Oh.
Now, I've had this discussion with a couple of people, Bankuli, Mr. Yoshonaya, and a lot of, when I say you guys, okay, Osage no day again. Osage na OG now. Osage na retired. So that would be you two. You two now. How do you agree that Afrobeats, it gets subgenres? Like, do you agree? What is Afrobeats to you? What is Afro? Is it beat without S, or wait to be the correct one?
I can actually answer this question.
Thank you very much.
Well. I was
want to
chatting
hear
with someone.
I'll answer, but I want to hear this one first.
Yeah. So the term Afrobeats was coined, the nomenclature, right, was coined in the UK. The reason why that was coined, right, to summarize, to bundle a lot of African music, basically, you know. So whether it was coming from South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, or Kenya, everything was just bundled under one genre called Afrobeats, you know, which is like a pluralization of Afrobeats. It was coined because in the UK, before you can get music into the juggler system, into the system, right, it has to be properly defined. If anything is not properly defined, you can't make it into the system. You can't make it into the system because you can't then describe it properly. You can't chart it. You don't know the shows to play it on. And so you had young, passionate people who wanted to tell African stories. So people like DJ Edu, people like DJ Abrante, right? Then you have, of course, the DJ Abbas and the Adesope Olajides and all that. Yeah. And these guys were so passionate about selling Nigerian music because they had already seen it happening in the clubs, in the UK clubs. They had seen it happening at the house parties. So how do we get this music on radio? Because people really love it, but they have to go upstairs and tell their white bosses, right? And the white bosses says, okay, so how do you define it? Oh, this is Afro pop today. Oh, this is something pop. It's too many. I don't know. So he said, oh, everything is Afrobeats. Okay, so we then create a system and call it Afrobeats, and then we can create that as a pipeline to throw in all the music in there. Now, the success of that was people could now start enjoying a lot of African music. These African artists could now come, you know, to the UK and sell out the O2, right? And so that is why we're having this. Now, what is going to happen in the next decade, right, is you will then start having an unbundling of these genres again under the Afrobeats. It will unbundle back. It's the same thing with hip-hop, right? Hip-hop was bundled. Everything was hip-hop. Now you have trap. Now you have drill. So naturally, it's going to happen again where the Afrobeat will then unbundle to sub-genres. It's just going to take some time.
It will take time because there's a bit of confusion, you know. I see young rappers trying to say, no, me call, no, Konshe, I only Afrobeat. I'm like, okay. I don't know if you get me.
No,
like, they don't see themselves as Afrobeat artists. They think it's, you know, it's only the pop stars.
Yeah.
Because I told Bankuli this. I said, look, the pop stars, David, the proper pop stars, Kiss Daniel, WC, those are proper pop stars. Afrobeat, yeah? Okay, Bella, Orishefemi, that's another genre, yeah? Yeah. Correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, then there's Bado, Fino, Zino, Naimali, that's another genre, yeah?
Yeah.
Then there's the TZ, DRB, whatever, Bodge, Afrobeat, yeah? So what do you mean?
Yeah.
That's
I
four
mean,
or five
that's
different
like four
sets.
that are off the top. So I mean, there's flavor. Oh, thank you. There's Johnny Drill. There's I mean, you get me. Otin lobby me job, man. So which one is Afrobeat there now? Which one is? I don't know if you get me. So we need to. That's what I was saying. You know, you guys have.
Charity begins at home, basically, because if we start defining it here, right, and everybody's confident enough to say, no, don't describe me as that. This is what, you know, my people say it is, and I want in my profiles when you when you upload my music, everything. This is what is defined as.
Afrobeat, yeah.
If you, the problem is that if you cannot tell your own story, people will tell your story for you, and you can't complain how they tell your
Because my
story.
own story, I said pop rap.
So I want to say,
I don't know if I'm Afrobeat yet, so I don't know hip hop rap. Let's
Sorry,
hip hop rap there.
So I want to say that's where the local streaming platform that we have, that's the African #1 music platform, got the people that started it understood this problem, because it's not just the training. So we had Fuji, Akpala, all that. So the shout out to Oye, shout out to Ire. They sat down and said, you know what, this metadata has to be corrected from now. Yeah. So from the ingestion at the beginning of the music, it was properly it was painstaking work, sitting down, because
you have to define.
Yeah, for you to arrange metadata, you have to have the lyrics correctly, you have to have the cover correctly, and a lot of our works weren't proper. So it was sitting like converting CDs to and I saw that work, and they'll be like, is this Fuji? Is this Juju? Because there's sometimes bit of confusion and goes down. So if you check, Boomplay's genre, it's to an extent, properly as a more defined than your Spotify. And now it's interesting because now they are now being, I think, what partnership did they sign? Boomplay and was it the numbers count towards Billboard now?
Yeah. Last year.
And so when I saw the Billboard chart, I said, now the Boomplay and the Audiomack, partnership makes it more interesting, because now once it starts reading, even if it's just them for now, they just see something called, something rap, or they see Fuji, they see Akpala, and be like, okay, this is, because for something to become a globally recognized genre, it has to do with volume. It has to do with volume. I was currently on one international awards committee, and we're having this conversation, and they said, guys, I get it, you guys are upset about world music, but the quantity still doesn't match the criteria, which made me now think and say, oh, this Afrobeat, I can understand why Afrobeat became Afrobeat, because from Nigeria alone, it wasn't going to service in terms of quantity. So Africa as a whole, and that's why there's an exponential blowout of Afrobeats, if you think about it, because of the quantity.
It's basically African beats.
Yeah. Then again, about media and narrative, I was so glad when I saw the $2.3 million raised for Tech Cabal, because now it's signaling to say media can be invested in. Right, so you have we have Pulse, you have Native, you have Culture Custodian, you have now these are.
I'm not in Bokpe basically.
What's in Bokpe? So, and it's important because nobody is going to like I said earlier, controlling stories. What now? This genre discussion, it's who is the master at the top saying, I don't. If someone at the top of money says, I don't want this story to grow up and close it out. I went to an African country. See, bro, their national TV is, their national TV is their colonial masters TV. Like, yikes. You scroll through 10, there's no local channel going on. Everything is in their colonial masters, language, but they feel like they're sovereign.
Fuza.
What's in deep?
What's in deep? But we have to round up. You understand? We really have to round up.
Fuza went dark on us.
Bro, we have to round up.
Dark.
Thank you to everybody that was on this panel, or that has contributed to this panel. Thank you to everybody that contributed online. Thank you to everybody that has watched and found humor and insight and knowledge through this panel. Thank you very much, Excel. Thank you to Foza. Thank you to Osage. Thank you to Focus. And thank you to Reminisce.
Please help us be spiking our drink next time.
Amen.
Okay.
All you need to do is just take Tom.
Put Tom in your
drink. Reminisce. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.